You found this frequency. Somehow, somewhere. I don't know where you are, but welcome. This is Echoes and Dust, a broadcast from somewhere between memory and ruin. I'm G.B. Ellery, and tonight we open a door. A heavy door into a place full of words, whispers, and ash. A library at the end of the world. Imagine the end. Not the cinematic kind, not fireballs or mushroom clouds, but the quiet end, a slow collapse. Civilizations drifting into dust, cities hollowed out, structures left to the wind and the weeds. When we picture such a future, there's one image that recurs across stories, myths, and fears. The library. Rows of shelves, some standing, some fallen. Books swollen with mold, ink blurred, pages brittle and yellowing, the ghosts of knowledge waiting for no one. Why do we imagine this? Why is the image of a ruined library so powerful? Because the library is more than paper. It's a memory in physical form. When the world ends, what we fear most isn't death, it's forgetting. And a library, even in ruin, resists that forgetting. There's something uncanny about a book after its readers are gone. Think of it. Every sentence was written by a living hand, a mind that once thought, a voice that once spoke. When you hold a book, you're touching a ghost. At the end of the world, that ghost lingers, but it waits in silence. No eyes to read it, no lips to whisper it aloud. And so the library becomes a sort of mausoleum of voices. A place where every volume is a coffin, but inside, the soul still knocks faintly, hoping to be heard. Throughout history, people have known this danger of forgetting, and so we've built arks. The Great Library of Alexandria, the clay tablets of Mesopotamia, the scrolls of Qumran, the libraries of monasteries hidden through the Dark Ages. Each one was a raft on a dark sea, trying to carry memory across time. Some made it. Most didn't. We speak of lost civilizations, but rarely do we imagine what it means, that their words are gone. Their stories, their laws, their poetry. What if the last library on Earth isn't one we built for survival, but one left by accident? A forgotten archive in a basement, a hard drive in a cave, a box of journals sealed in someone's attic. At the end, the ark might not be grand. It might be small, and fragile, and desperately human. Here's the thought experiment. The world has ended. Ruins stretch across the land, and you, somehow, survive. You walk into a library. Dust fills the air. The ceiling sags. Shelves lean like broken ribs. What would you read first? Would you look for comfort? A story, a novel, something to remind you of what it felt like to be human? Or would you hunt for utility? Manuals, survival guides, the brittle knowledge of medicine, agriculture, fire. In that silence, the choice would not just be about survival. It would be about meaning. Because maybe the last reader on Earth wouldn't choose a guidebook. Maybe they would sit and open a novel and just weep. Not because it helped them live, but because it reminded them they weren't alone. There's another possibility. What if we aren't the ones to read it? What if, centuries from now, someone or something wanders into our ruins? Another species, or visitors from far away. They find our books, our words, our ghosts. What would they think? Would they understand our language? Would they even try? Perhaps they'd see only marks on paper, strange symbols with no meaning. Or perhaps they would recognize that there was memory. Here was a people who didn't want to vanish. The library at the end of the world is not just for us. It's a message in a bottle, not knowing who, if anyone, will ever read it. For a moment, close your eyes. Imagine walking those halls. The air is cold. Your footsteps echo. Every shelf is a gravestone. You reach out. A book crumbles in your hands. Another holds steady. You open it, and the smell rises. Paper, dust, mildew. The scent of centuries. You whisper the first line aloud. The sound bounces against the walls, and for a moment, the silence of the stacks is broken. For a moment, the library is alive again. But only for a moment. The library at the end of the world is a metaphor, but it's also a mirror. It shows us what we fear most. That everything we've built, not just our buildings, but our thoughts, our dreams, our truths, might be lost. But it also shows us hope, because we imagine the library is still there, still waiting, still carrying memory into the unknown. We may vanish, but perhaps our words will echo. And in that echo, there's dust, but there's also meaning. This has been Echoes and Dust, a transmission from the quiet places, where memory lingers and forgetting waits. I'm G.B. Ellery, and tonight we walked the ruined halls and opened the books of the library at the end of the world. Until next time, keep listening, keep remembering. I'll wait for you here at the end of the world.